To all who come, welcome. Disney is a time machine that takes us back, connects us together, and shows us that not even wishing upon a star ever gets old. Now come sit with your friends Jonelle, Sean, and Megan as we deep dive into the heart of Disney.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Animated versus Live Action. We're going to start off by me telling you a dream I had last night.
Wait.
It's related to the movie.
I know, wait. With this live action versus animation, we are going to be talking about, for the next few weeks, all of the princesses from the Disney Princess Collection that we have not done yet.
Yes.
So we are doing today with Little Mermaid, live action versus animation. We will be hitting up all the others.
And are we doing Cinderella?
Cinderella, we technically have already done a regular episode, just not a live action versus animation because it took forever for them to get the live action Cinderella onto Disney Plus.
So we'll just do the live action.
Eventually.
No, we redo it. The remastered version.
That's because you all want to do Cinderella again.
Yes, I love Cinderella. You know, we could do, oh, this is off camera, but you know all the Cinderella trope movies?
Yes. There's a
Do you guys want to watch a whole bunch of episodes on all the Cinderellas in Disney Plus?
That'd be Cinderella's. We could do the same thing for Snow White's. Those are the main two, really.
Let us know.
But
Let us know.
anyways, on to Megan with her
Okay.
dream.
So we watched the live action Little Mermaid yesterday. So last night I had a dream about Crab Sebastian following me around at work. I work with kids, by the way. So live action Crab Sebastian running around yelling at me what to do, doing my job, and me trying to save him from kids squishing him to death.
Megan has this habit where like her dreams are always like affected by like what she watches or what's around her. It's really funny.
It can be really funny or like really terrible because like we said, we watched live action like Little Mermaid. So of course there's going to be Little Mermaid in there. But if I were to watch, I don't know, a horror movie before bed, it would be really bad.
There's a reason we don't watch horror before bed.
Megan, I also cannot watch horror before bed. Is this just an ADHD thing?
It's not just an ADHD thing. It's a person who has been traumatized thing.
Oh, well, that has also occurred. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, no, but like we still on the same level. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that was the dream I had, was scary Sebastian.
Okay, so it's been a while since we've done a live action versus animation. I think it's been almost a year because our last one was Alice in Wonderland, which was both a live action remake and not a live action remake.
Mm-hmm.
So technically Beauty and the Beast was our last real one.
And you were pregnant.
You were pregnant.
I'm not pregnant now.
Overall, basic feelings on the animated versus the live action.
Live action can go in the trash.
Megan?
I have thoughts. Yeah.
I'll say it. I don't think the live action is a bad movie at all.
In the trash.
I'm entitled to my own opinion. I'll wear you down. I still prefer the animated to the live action, but the live action is not necessarily a bad movie.
Well, you care about the animated because we watched it in the fishbowl together.
In the fishbowl.
We have
it was
we have a strong history of Little Mermaid.
Yes.
It is,
and in the fishbowl.
I would like it's our friendship movie. It's our
Yes.
friendship movie.
I want to confess something here, right now. I used to hate The Little Mermaid. I know. I can hear you screaming at me, Megan, why would you do that? It's a classic. We love The Little Mermaid. And I just want to tell you that, and Sean and Jonelle can attest to this, I don't like teenagers in movies. And that's because I was a very, very, very mild teenager. Like, the worst thing I did as a teenager was I drove my friend home who was sick. And I technically needed an adult in the car. They lived 5 minutes from my house. Oh no, and I bought a 3DS with my own money while my parents were in Germany. I know. Rebellion is strong in this one.
Then there's me.
You also get a lot of secondhand embarrassment.
I also get a lot of secondhand embarrassment. But the thing is, like, animated Little Mermaid just brought out all my least favorite parts about myself.
I went full Ariel my teenage years. I snuck out of the house, stole things, found hidden treasures, kissed a boy here or there.
You see, I did none of those things. But Ariel was and I think still is the most curious out of all the
Mhm.
Disney princesses. What did you do?
Ice pack. I gave Jonelle an ice pack before we started recording because she was complaining about heat on the back of her neck.
Guys, I'm not going through menopause, but I get warm in here.
I just finished cooking like not that long ago.
Oh, that explains it. Okay, I'm like
Um,
the whitest of white people who sweat in like any enclosed room. You know those people though. You know those white people.
I have to ask you, Jonelle, though, going back to Little Mermaid, can you pinpoint one thing that makes you have a, besides Ariel, name one thing about like the live action Little Mermaid as to why you think it belongs in the trash?
Everything.
That is not what I asked for.
I really don't like the
Why?
live action at all.
But
It
why?
looks horrible. Nothing about it looks good or pleasing.
I disagree. Hear me out, because me and Megan, well, after we watch movies, we'll often have to talk a little bit just to help get the right words to like figure out what to say here.
Okay, because like the way I've described it before is like imagine like every thought you have is like this abstract painting. And so in order to get it from like the abstractness, you have to like filter it through a bunch of filters in order to get it to like make sense to another person. And so what Sean and I do is we filter it for each other so that way when we come onto this podcast, we're not just like
Words.
Ariel.
So when we were talking about this last night,
I
because
straight up just do not like the live action at all.
well, luckily we have an open-minded podcast.
It is a
beg-
0
I-
out of 5
I-
stars.
I beg you to have an open mind, please, if we're gonna do this episode, because I know you hate it. I've known you for you to hate it. I think it took me a while to get into the movie because of how it looks. A long while. And when I say that, it took until the movie was centered on the land. The pieces underwater were my biggest issue and did not look the best.
Ariel's hair.
Anything underwater was the worst aspect of it, minus Ursula.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Like, their tails, yeah, they looked pretty. They just did not feel cohesive to the character. Everything, having to maneuver an underwater atmosphere where you have not just the depth of like what's in front of you, but then everything that's behind the person. But the idea, like, there is no true sense of direction underwater. So you have a full 360 space that you have to deal with. In the same idea, like if you were fully submerged underwater and close your eyes, there's no way for you to know what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. So you have a fully 360 space with them being able to flip, so the camera can go up, it can go down, it can go left, it can go right. You have all the depth. It's nearly impossible to do that in a CGI atmosphere and make it look right. But I think once Ariel had her legs and it was centered on land,
Where you didn't CGI as much.
I think the movie got 10 times better from that point on, and I actually invested.
Okay. Hear me out. Hear me out.
This is just convincing Jonelle that maybe it's not as bad as she thought.
No, this is exactly what the movie is. Disney catered to what people wanted and gave them exactly what they wanted. Disney did not make the movie Disney themselves. Like, it is not like a good, truly original Disney, you know?
Is that talking about Ariel? I'm trying to.
I'm just going to say something.
Oh, okay, go.
Listen, I feel like I love the animated now.
Sebastian looks weird.
Sebastian is nightmare fuel. Okay,
It's not just Ariel.
Okay, let's talk.
And Ursula. I don't like how Ursula looks.
Okay, let's talk fish. Let's talk
This is the other aspect.
Let's talk fish. Let's talk underwater landscapes. Look, I love me some marine biology. I effing love it. Here's my issues. And I brought this up to Sean last night.
And we agreed on it.
One, under the sea in real life is freaky. AF.
Yes.
Like, the things down there are nightmare fuel.
Exactly.
And they exist.
It should not exist as a live action.
They should not exist as live action.
Exactly.
Like, the thing... Okay, so, like, in, like, Finding Nemo, they have, like, that starfish, and he's super cute, right?
Yeah.
Starfish in real life are not cute. They are nightmare creatures.
There's the globfish.
The blobfish. There's anglerfish. Those things should not be like.
No, sea creatures are absolutely terrifying and should not be made to live action, minus some like exceptions like dolphins and turtles.
Dolphins. The turtle. Okay. I also really, really love turtles. What the actual hell did they do to those sea turtles? Because they looked like
They were testing out Finding Nemo in live
shut up.
action.
Listen,
This
I
is a
will
real thing.
shut up because I hate that. I hate that so much. I don't like Finding Nemo. I don't like Finding Dory. If they are truly testing it, I want to kill all the sea turtles. I love them in real life. Murder them in CGI.
But this goes back to my point that the underwater aspects of the movie were the biggest problem.
I think this is my one stance on it. When they did bioluminescence, which is a real thing underwater, where there are specific creatures who make their own light for various survival reasons, it looked good. It looked pretty. Now, with that being said, I figured out why I hate like real life fish flounder and real life fish like real life Sebastian. You know, like non-animated, animated.
The CGI ones.
The CGI ones. Flounder in animation has so much facial expressions. So many. Flounder in the other one is like that one friend who plays it straight-faced all the time. And then Sebastian is even worse. Sebastian has like these giant lips in the animated where you really get to see his pouts. You really get to see when he's like grumbling to himself. In the in real life, crabs have teeny tiny mouths
And teeny tiny eyes.
and teeny tiny eyes that kind of stick up weirdly. They look creepy as hell. And I love crabs. Not just to eat, but I think they're really cool creatures. I just think that like if they were to like in theory redo it, I would give them Ariel different sea creatures to like have as good friends. Because like there are other fish that like have more characteristics.
I'm sorry, I cannot. I think that would be more controversial than anything else with this movie if you were to change Ariel's friends.
I know. Listen.
They already changed Ariel herself. They might as well change all her friends.
Okay, can we
Okay.
please?
Fine. I was trying to avoid the politics on this specific issue, but go.
That is exactly all this movie is. People wanted Black Lives Matter movement. That's it.
Okay. I need to bring up something. Ariel and all of her sisters are different nationalities.
Why did this Ariel need to be black?
I just have a question.
Keep her a redhead. Make her sisters with Brave. I don't know. Merida. She'll be sisters with Merida.
Just all of a sudden, Ariel has Scottish accent. I'm sorry.
Lorelai, it would make more sense for a mermaid in Germany to meet up with Merida and have a whole siren go over and murder people and turn it into an actual, like, potential horror film that became a real Disney movie. But no, that's not what this is.
I don't care. I don't care if that is the reason. Because here's the thing. I don't think Halle Bailey did a bad job. I don't think so.
She's not a bad actor. I just hate the movie.
You're hating the movie because it exists.
It didn't need to exist.
We've been over the live actions before. A lot of them don't need to exist, and
And this one really doesn't need to exist.
but it does.
It was generated off of what people wanted and trends.
If you ignore that aspect of the movie, if you ignore that, yes, Ariel is Halle Berry plays Ariel. She's black. Yes, her sisters are different nationalities, which I have my own theory around. If you ignore that aspect,
I thought it was interesting. Okay, I'm not bashing the movie. I was just like, what?
my theory on the fact that her sisters are different nationalities has to come with the fact that I feel like it, because he calls his daughters together every so often, that they each have their own respective parts of the world that they like oversee for him, since he is the king of all the ocean. So like different, like they're more worldly, like it's almost like expanding. That's my own theory behind it.
I'm just frustrated because this movie bleeds bad Disney business decisions.
How is that because of Ariel though? Halle Berry playing
It is everything. It is from the CGI.
Because here's the thing. The only character I truly have an issue with personally is King Triton. he was, to me, the worst character out of all. I think the chemistry between Ariel and Eric in this movie was amazing.
And I figured out why.
I thought the development they had for Eric was amazing. Music, we'll get into. I know you're looking at it from a business perspective, and I know...
No, I'm looking at this from definitely my own perspective of how I view this movie every time I watch it, and it's because I know when this movie was made and what it was made for. I just hate it. I don't care for it. It's curated crap by Disney.
You see, I think the way you feel about this movie is how I feel about the live action Mulan, where
I was literally about to talk about the live action Mulan, about like the reason why they didn't add the characters in Mulan is probably because they also would have looked really creepy. And so maybe they shouldn't have just added the characters at all. But then, what is The Little Mermaid without characters? Nothing! Then it should have not been made!
okay,
I will leave it from there. I'm done being dramatic now.
okay, let's talk about categories. Let's
You want to work through the categories?
All right, Sean, I'm going to put the mic down. Feel free to talk about the movie and everything that you love about it. I am devil's advocate that is done talking.
let's talk Eric and Ariel live action.
Eric and Ariel in the live action have so much more development and connection compared to the animated. And the one main aspect comes from that first scene where they really get to spend time with each other, where she finds his collection of stuff.
Which is like a mirror. We were literally talking about how it's literally like a mirror of like her collection. Because, there's like that open, like not window, but like window of her like cavern. And then there's like the spiral and then all of her stuff like decorating like the walls. And then what do you see? It's the same thing, but in like the human side.
But like they had like such a genuine connection because he's always been at war with his mom because he wants to be out sailing and his mom doesn't want to leave him the house. And here you have Ariel stumbling across and someone who actually cares to listen. Someone who wants to see all the stuff just like he does. So he finally feels seen. And then you have Ariel, which is the exact same situation, but mirrored because she was underwater. And for once, they finally have that person that's willing to listen and understand this thing that they love and want to explore more. And seeing the longing in their eyes, like you can see how much joy they had just in their eyes to be having that moment. And I absolutely loved it.
You see where I was like, the fish suck in this movie because they don't have facial expressions. They like the live action does human relationships better because there's so much that can be told just through the eyebrows. It just like through the way people look at each other in the eyes.
Are you meaning you're not that well versed in nonverbal fish communication?
I am not. Sorry. I did an experiment with Siamese fighting fish, aka betas, and I just know that mine was the dominant one. That's why his name was Edgar, after Edgar Allan Poe.
I loved my beta fish. His name was Dusty.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the cutest fish ever. Literally, I would tap on his tank and he would come up to the surface and wait for me to feed him and pet him. That's so cute.
But then, like, when you switch to, like, the moment where, like, Ariel and Eric really get to spend time together because he's, like, showing her the kingdom and stuff, what I love about that is, like, it's the exact same stuff from the animated, except I really like that for Eric's kingdom, they really adopted this coastal Caribbean vibe.
It wasn't just generic kingdom that like Disney does, where it's like besides like Agrabah, like you can or like Brave, you could like literally be like snapshot of anything, and you'd be like, oh, that's just
another Disney castle,
just another kingdom, yeah.
But pink,
yeah. Oh, but blue.
Like, if you look at the palaces for the Disney princesses in Lego, literally that's how you differentiate between Sleeping Beauties and Cinderellas.
Yep.
Yeah.
One is pink and one is blue.
And so, like, seeing, like, that more island Caribbean vibe, I really liked it because I feel like looking at the animated, the only, like, Caribbean vibe you had was Under the Sea or just Sebastian himself. And so I like that they gave the entirety around it like more of an identity of like where you're at, the overall environment to it. And like, yeah, I'm a little sad that they didn't have the same instrumental part over like with like when they have like Ariel and Eric dancing in the street in the animated, like that same flittering kind of melody. But the island vibes were still just as good. And like the little like beach market where Ariel's ADHD happy and going through every stall imaginable.
Shut up. This is just me going to Target and being like, oh, look at all the things.
And like how they were still able to do like her going crazy on the horse-drawn carriage.
Look, Target shopping is so bad because I also go there to like get a good amount of clothes now too. And like buying clothes when you're sorry, very side tangent, but it sucks because it's constantly just sitting there and reevaluating in the store. Like, how do I actually feel about this shirt? Is this something I can see myself wearing for like the next year?
And then the Kiss the Girl scene was, I think, done really well
Hmm.
as well.
I love how they, like in the animated movie, I feel like it was like for Ariel to like get like the courage to kiss him. And in the live action, they flipped it where I was like, no, like we need to like sing to Eric to kiss her, which is, I think, interesting in the way of framing it. I don't care who kisses who, though. At the end, they're not going to kiss each other.
The one thing I'll say, and I think if you hear me out fully, you might see like agree with me with where my thought is going. Because they gave Eric his own solo song. I'm going to deep into the soundtrack a little bit. They gave Eric his own solo song.
Pause. I just want to say that there were new songs added by the one and only Lin-Manuel Miranda. And if you know me at all, you know that I am obsessed with Lin-Manuel Miranda. And what his song was actually about was like trying to be a better leader for his people and stuff like that.
It was a Moana song.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it would a better place for him to explore where he is emotionally. Because I know that part of that song was to find the right girl, was to find a girl with a voice, because that's what led up to that song happening.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking with, I think, Grimsby. But if he's to sing a song about her, I think it's better to have that song. If you remember in the animated, there's that scene where Ariel's like up in her room and she sees Eric playing his flute or whatever, and he's like looking off at the sea. And Grimsby is like, I know you're thinking about some dream girl, but you have one like right in front of you that you love and care for, obviously. I would have loved to have seen a musical number where he has to deal with that turmoil of like, I have this girl I'm dreaming of, but Ariel's here. But then have it be in that moment where Grimsby points it out to him. But then at the end of the song, have Vanessa show up and then hypnotize him and all of those things. I think that would have worked so much more with the plot and to really like have Eric be a little bit more expanded musically around his feelings for Ariel versus this mystery woman. Which
look, they should have wham bam thank you man most of the oceaned out.
Again, most of the ocean stuff is the problem, I feel like.
Agree.
And out of the songs they added,
I liked one of them.
Well, there's one song specifically I hate.
It's the one
I only like the animated.
Well, okay, listen.
For the songs in general, or like the songs
we're
from
talking soundtrack.
Look,
there's only one song I absolutely hate that they added.
I just disassociate so much from the live action that I don't even care about the music they create for that movie because I'm not going to be listening to it.
That's fair, I guess. But like, I liked one of the songs that Lin wrote. I think it was pretty funny. And it was called back to the Morning Report from the Lion King, like, special edition, I guess.
Yeah, I hate that song. I hate Scuttlebutt.
The Scuttlebutt.
It was just an excuse to have
Lin-Manuel Miranda write a rap.
It's just so that way they could have rap in the damn movie, so that way Aquafina could rap in Daveed Diggs.
Daveed Diggs! Oh my gosh. Okay. So, we're going to talk about this right now. So, I also really, really like Daveed Diggs. If there's this little known musical called Hamilton, which Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote and performed in as the titular.
And David Diggs plays Lafayette in the first act and Thomas Jefferson in the second act.
And oh my gosh, he does the first act with like the best French accent. Okay, it's not the best, but like he does the whole thing in the French accent. Singing, acting, it's all great. And the more this show progresses, the easier it is to understand him because he was around, yeah. But in this movie, he does the Jamaican accent. And if I did not know that David Diggs was playing Sebastian, I would not have thought that David, like, I wouldn't have heard it, you know?
But Awkwafina, on the other hand, sucks at voice acting. I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. Because she does not actually voice act. She just uses her own voice because she's the same voice of Sisu.
Yeah, Sean was like, by the way, Scuttle has the same voice as Sisu. And I was like, what? And then I heard it and I was like, if I closed my eyes, I could see Sisu saying those things.
And it's irritating to me that she doesn't voice act.
And yeah, fair. She has a very unique voice. And I don't mind her voice. When we first watched Raya, I was like, oh, I hate this. But it's growing on me. But yeah, no, I just wanted to point out, like, the David Diggs, Awkwafina, like, discourse, I guess.
I think overall, character-wise, the only character I truly hated in the live action was Triton, because I think he lacked the abilities to be Triton.
Okay, let's talk about the fish robe first. Triton, king of the ocean, comes in during the first scene he's in, and he has these live fish being, what is it?
A cape.
A cape behind him. These are live-ass fish. You can see them, like, swimming to keep
It's really
this
weird.
Cape. It's so strange and very morbid. Could you... It would be like you, Jonelle, instructing your cats to pretend they are shoes.
Like it's like that scene in Finding Nemo.
Imagine what it would feel like, though, to have a whole thing of fish around your neck.
Remember that scene in Finding Nemo where it's like the school of fish are making the faces?
Yeah.
Like they moved exactly like that.
Yeah, I know.
Cape.
It gave me the ick. I was like, oh, I hate this guy. And then he's too intense.
He's not intense.
Okay, he's like too intense to be just like happy father role when he's like in happy father role, and then not intense enough when he's supposed to be angry.
I think the better way to phrase it is he's too restrained.
Yeah.
He restrains himself so much to be, I'm proper. Yes, Ariel, I am happy. Now, Ariel, I am mad. How dare you? And by the way, I love you. Like, it's the same thing. There's no expression, and he looks too much like Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
But, do you see it?
Now you can't unsee it, and it makes the movie...
It's more reason to put it in the trash. Because I hate to say it, but there is a this movie is curated to fucking culture. There is a whole thing with Nicolas Cage memes and Nicolas Cage like look-alike items.
Listen.
You know what I mean?
Listen, I went to his tomb. Like, Nicolas Cage in... Hold on. No, Orlando, Florida. Come on. New Orleans. There we go. I was like, has, like, a tomb. Not a tomb. What is it?
Mausoleum?
It's like a above ground burial site thing.
Oh, yeah. But New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called right now. But you guys, Nicolas Cage is still alive. People pray to him and, like, leave him offerings. Nicolas Cage is alive. Last time I just...
Look at this photograph. Sorry, that's like all I can think of this dude now is look at this graph.
I just think of National Treasure.
Look at this.
No. Triton, the actor who played Triton, did not have the emotional range to play Triton.
Yeah.
The scene where he destroyed Ariel's collection was lackluster. Anytime he had to be happy with Ariel, I don't think there was a moment he was happy at Ariel. I don't know if this is my inability to read fish nonverbal communication cues or what I'm missing.
It was his beard blocking the way.
This entire movie, the live action, is just not...
Underwater pieces, yes.
Okay. So...
It's just not cohesive.
Jonelle, we're going to jump back on the train because I will finish these categories if it's the death of me.
We'll work...
We haven't even touched the animated version, and we're supposed to be doing an animated versus live action.
I'll let you go.
Okay,
Yes.
animated music. You can talk about the animated's music because that's the topic.
Beautiful. It's cute. The fish have faces. Ariel is actually bright and airy. Okay.
And it is an airhead.
Yes. The whole movie is drawn.
You're like, the movie has, in fact, been animated, not through computers.
It's a classic. Enough said.
I do have to agree. Even though I love David Diggs, I do have to agree that the animated one has a better soundtrack. Maybe it's because I grew up on it. Maybe because it just feels more cohesive as like an album.
Look, cute, bright, bubbly things all together.
Yes.
One cohesive team. Also, you know what, Zach? The one thing that made our company thrive was The Little Mermaid.
Snaps to Zach.
Yeah, because Disney apparently didn't think The Little Mermaid was gonna do that well, so he bought, I think it was that way, but he ended up buying the licensing to Little Mermaid, and then The Little Mermaid hit off, and then that is when there was a whole bunch of like Little Mermaid plates and bowls and things like that that were going into households.
History lesson with Sean.
And Jonelle.
Business history with Jonelle.
With The Little Mermaid, it was a very risky project. It was because The Little Mermaid came out in, I think, November or December of 1989.
Can I make a smart ass joke real quick? If it was hard enough the first round, why'd they try again for the second one?
Ha ha ha.
Maybe the third time they'll actually make it on target.
Let's hope they don't do a third.
The last movie, if I recall correctly, the last animated movie before The Little Mermaid released was The Black Cauldron, which was at the time, the worst Disney movie. And they took a big gamble because 30 years prior to The Little Mermaid releasing was when Sleeping Beauty released. They haven't released a princess movie since, and after Sleeping Beauty, they really went down on like the animated stuff and focused more on live action stuff, which is at that time Jonelle's crap, apparently. And so it was a really big gamble with The Little Mermaid because The Black Cauldron did poor. The last time they did a princess movie, it tanked. Sleeping Beauty tanked. It's a absolute masterpiece by today's standards.
Look,
But it
the
tanked.
comedies they made in the 60s and 70s were hilarious.
Yes, but after Sleeping Beauty,
Didn't
it was a
touch
huge.
Disney princesses.
Sleeping Beauty didn't make up its profits
Yeah,
till after 3 theatrical releases.
yeah.
So Disney had every right to gamble on The Little Mermaid. Granted, Disney has a habit of gambling with a lot of things because they like to push themselves to.
And they
be the
can't
next
write
level.
stories now. Wish was probably the only one that they knew how to write because it was a history about them.
Damn, Jonelle is throwing shade, throwing tea, scalding
But
water.
obviously, yes, it did well, and it is known as the Kickstarter of the Disney Renaissance into the 90s,
Yes.
which is why everyone forgets that it's technically an 80s movie.
Shut it. Sorry, we had this argument yesterday,
Last night.
last night, so it's still very fresh.
It wasn't an argument. It was me just pointing out you called it a 9th, so technically it was an 89.
There is a... I mean,
was
I
one
think there's
year-
only one clear winner, but
It's animated. Animated has a better soundtrack.
you're
We
trying
haven't even-
so hard to push.
Here's the thing. I am doing what we have always said we would do.
We're having an open and honest conversation about the good and the bads of both of the
Mhm.
movies.
We haven't talked much about the animation because it's established it's a masterpiece. There is nothing truly wrong I can say that exists with the animated. It is beautiful.
Other than the kingdom looks like penises.
There it is.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, so someone, I can't remember who, and I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry at the same time,
It was a long time ago.
was instructed to make Atlanticus. I almost call it Atlantis. I do this every time. Like basically like the big castle you see. But someone at Disney was like, that looks very phallic. And this person's like, it's just a lot of cylinders with balls on.
To be more clear, it's not the castle itself that was the issue.
Wasn't it like a specific like scene?
The cover for the VHS case.
Which I have that.
There is a banned cover because it looks phallic.
I just think that's hilarious.
Just the tip.
just the I No,
You
I
just know the chef's there. This is not a kids podcast.
Just the tip, though. The tip is what made it beautiful.
actually I do have something bad to say about the animated. All
Oh,
the
you're wrong.
guys look awful. Like the girls are so pretty. I want some pretty mermen.
Okay,
Thank you.
so here's what happened in the animated. It became The Sims.
Okay. You know what? Never mind. I take it back everything I said.
The mermen are Sims.
You're right.
You're not wrong.
We all know when we play The Sims, we're just trying to make the most beautiful women
It's true.
because it's fun to play with hair.
As like I am triggered. No. Trust me, I want actually decent mermen because for some reason anything with mer people, they make the women look amazing and the men look terrible.
Don't worry.
No.
But
I want some like K-pop inspired merm people. Please and thank you.
You can
Amen.
see my merman I made in The Sims because I like heavily went into like my own story mode in The Sims where I had a vampire and a girl who wanted to become a master vampire. So she married a vampire to become a vampire. So that way she then worked on her grand plan of becoming a grand vampire. She then wanted to then create like the ultimate hybrid children. And then she had one child and then she had two more. One went out into the sun and died, and then it was the death of her third son that she decided to fully rebel against her husband. So her husband divorced her and he became a head chef and became human again and detransitioned from a vampire. The other two children went off and lived happy lives and were a part of the 100 baby challenge in The Sims, while the last child she had was then with a merman, and she then spent time cure. I know this is how you play The Sims though, but you messed it up really bad. I then went to make her merman get married to a mage, so they're like its blood identified as a vampire, so it only drank human blood, but every time it went into the water, it turned into a mermaid. And then it was also able to cast magical spells. And this is not supposed to happen in The Sims, so I don't know what I did, but I made it happen.
proud. But no. There's no part of me that wants to try and argue that the live action is better than the animated.
Yeah, no.
There's no part of me that wants that. But I don't believe in giving on just labeling a movie as bad for the sake of it without actually digging through the details.
I think it depends on the movie. For me personally, we are doing this for a podcast.
For me, it's in the trash.
But like Sean and I, when we watch these movies, we're like, okay, let's see what like the live action Little Mermaid is really about. And we came out with like, actually, the chemistry between Ariel and Eric were not that bad. Like, there were times where I was like, oh, that was really cute. And I was like, the fish are very creepy. I don't like that.
I will say one major problem I had with the movie, though, the live action. One major problem that I don't like that they changed. Ariel defeating Ursula. I hated it for a very specific reason. This one I will bring politics in. Because Triton's whole thing is humans kill mermaids. Humans kill fish. Humans are bad, which lets me really question the dietary habits of these mermaids, but that's a separate conversation. I understand Ariel killing Ursula is very much a girl power move. That's the only reason they made that change, because the other reason makes too much sense. Because at that point, there is no significance to Triton, because when she goes and saves Triton again and gives him back to his Triton, he's like, you saved me. And she's like, with the help of Eric. If they had Eric kill Ursula, it was Eric saved us. A human saved us. That feels more powerful in the political scheme of things. Because at that point, that is an eye-opener to Triton. Having his daughter save everyone, woohoo, everything's good, yeah, whatever, human helped him, so what? But if they kept it as Eric, it would have meant more on that front, and tackling that issue that Triton had with humans, especially when in the animated, when you see Ariel giving that last hug to Triton, he pans over to like Eric and he like bows to Triton.
Triton, not Trident. Otherwise, he would be kneeling to the giant fork.
No, the gum.
To Triton. But I think given the events that happened, that's again more meaningful. He's showing his respect for the mer people and such. by having it be Ariel, it ruined it. That part got fully ruined.
It sounds like every aspect of the movie, there's still a part to just be, I hate this. So it's in the trash. It's just not a pleasurable movie.
Disagree with this because all you're saying, as long as there's something to dislike, means it's bad. I don't like that sentence.
Like,
For me, I just don't have a good time watching it.
And that's okay.
And if majority of my experience is not enjoying something, I'm going to put it in the trash. Can I laugh at jokes? Yeah. Can I like a few songs? Yeah. But if I'm spending most of the time just sitting there frustrated because the movie is not cohesive and it looks horrible and it's just curated crap from society, I don't want to sit there and watch it.
okay, hear me out. I'm going to sound like an awful human at first.
It's okay. I'm still here.
Jonelle really loves old movies, old live action movies. And so when we first started the podcast, Jonelle was like, let's watch that dang cat.
Darn.
And I was like, okay, it's a movie about a cat. And I remember being so fucking bored. I was like, why would Jonelle love this? And then I found myself like really getting into it. I was like, okay, now I get it. But it took me like half the movie to be like, what's the point of this movie? Because I didn't grow up with slower paced movies and my brain is already ADHD hyper. So it really took me time to sit down and be like, Megan, there is a good reason why your friend who you love dearly likes this movie. You gotta set it out.
I will say now, officially getting my diagnosis changed to ADHD, it's helped me kind of like look at the things that I've been fixating on for so long to be like, my dopamine needs so much attention. And I'm like, I really miss the days where I was able to enjoy nothing.
But what I learned from the experience of watching slower paced movies is that sometimes you have to sit on that uncomfortable feeling to like really understand and to like get like the big moment at the end. Like, what is that one movie about like candle shoes? Where is it
Candle
about candle or shoe for some effing reason? And it's called Candle Shoe. There's like this beautiful like part at the end where there was this girl who was pretending to basically like be like the long lost daughter of this family, and we never know if she is or isn't, but they accepted her as a part of the family regardless, and it's beautiful. And if you didn't watch the entire movie to get to that point, then that would have meant nothing.
I got a lot more older movies for us to watch.
I don't think that the live action Little Mermaid has that like nugget at the end of it, like Candle Shoe does. I think what I learned from watching the live action Little Mermaid is like culture has a big part of like what we want in society and how like in order for like something to feel authentic, it has to have something that interests society, and then also it has to bring something that flips perspective. The Little Mermaid live action didn't do that for a lot of people because it was like, great, Ariel is now a different color. Great, they added new songs, but they weren't trying to change, like, they weren't offering anything new to the table with it. And I feel like that's why it's a meh movie. Is it the worst animated movie of all time? No, I'm going to say that is by far Lion King.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind The Lion King that much.
I think it's the talking lions that just really bother me. Mufasa also, just not
Look,
that.
The ocean is scary. You just don't fuck with the ocean.
I also agree with that. I also want to just blanket statement, don't do live action underwater.
That's just a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. And the way that her hair moved,
Do live action in space.
much better.
You'll still have the same issues.
No, there's a lot of great live action CGI space movies.
You're not wrong. But
Apollo 13.
Yes.
my thing, I try to block out the noise. And that purely comes from my experience here on the podcast, where there's times where I will let my own personal opinions drive certain parts of the conversation, but in moments like this where I've never seen a movie before, I really try to keep things objective as much as I can, which is why, like I said, I'm not saying any part of this is better, but like we did with the Snow White movie, because it was terrible.
Oh my
And-
gosh, never mind. I take it back. The Snow White was the worst one. Lion King is great compared.
That doesn't mean that doesn't mean the entire movie is bad. There
Little
are
Mermaid's
good
still
things.
the worst.
I refuse to say any part of this is 100% bad, because there are good things about it that deserve the credit. Just as I said the same thing during Snow White, as much as I love the original Little Mermaid, with all of my heart, she's one of my favorite princesses. This movie does not come close, but I'm not saying it's bad.
Look, I'm not willing to put any more of my money I give to Disney on their Disney Plus subscription to go to that movie.
That's fair. You never have to watch it again.
Because I am voting with my few cents every month dollars on that subscription to go towards Wizards of Waverly Place, whatever the hell we're watching, and it's no longer going to be the Little Mermaid live action, so that is off the list. But most of the
We've been
time,
avoiding this for so long.
I just really don't care for this movie. I've
I
watched
know.
it twice. It is still in the trash bucket. I'm done.
That's okay.
And I know.
That's my opinion.
And I'm very okay with that, and
Okay,
I'm very okay with your opinion.
Okay, just for the sake of it, we'll run through the categories. Soundtrack.
Animated.
I just want to say that the Little Mermaid, the story written by Hans Christian
Hans Christian Andersen.
there we go, was also very controversial because people believe it's actually a gay love story. He had this person he admired that he wasn't allowed to be with, like Romeo and Juliet. And so, like, the ending is like Ariel becomes Seafoam, because in the Disney version, like, yay, Ariel gets her happy ending. In the Hans Christian Andersen version, she becomes Seafoam and, like, it lists out to the sea. And he was writing it about a person he admired and was like, I can never be with you. So my love for you has to, like, dissolve like Seafoam.
Oh, damn.
And it's
Deep.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
now you can go.
Okay,
It's like your
categories. Characters.
Animated.
Animated. Soundtrack.
Animated.
Pacing.
Animated.
Yeah, animated.
We never talked about pacing. I do have to say, though, despite being like an hour longer, it did pretty good.
Like, because you know when some Disney movies like try to pump out like the time, and you're like, that could have just been a half an hour movie. It did well pacing wise.
Despite being an hour longer, it did really well.
Mhm.
And then overall aesthetic
Animated.
animated wins by far. The underwater was so bad.
See? Live action in the trailer.
But most of the movies above water.
I also want to smack past Megan. Okay. I also really wanted a drag queen to play Ursula. Ursula herself is based off of a very famous drag queen. Love that about her. But I was like, what other Disney villain besides Scar is so camp? It would have been so cool to have that type of performance in a Disney movie. And when I learned that it wasn't, I was like, this is going to be dumb. Whoever plays Ursula is never going to be able to do it well.
So Build-A-Bear also created a licensed bear off of this movie for Ursula.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly like the Ursula in the movie as a bear.
That's terrifying.
It got put on the clearance pretty quickly because it looks horrible. But funny thing,
Some personal tea that no one would understand about
No.
this.
I think
I just don't know if she listens to the podcast.
we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, I gotta go
Obviously-
in the office.
The animated was obviously the best one, but you've heard our discussions on the live action.
And don't fight with me with it. If you want to watch this movie, just don't watch it in my house.
Check out next week for Pocahontas, peoples. Bye.
A lot to say about